Hey guys, I'm Nick. Today I'm going to tell you how we caught some fish this morning. I want to talk about something that I see all the time. I saw it this weekend. Everyone looks at rain as it's a bad thing. Oh, it rained for 3 straight days. The fishery is ruined. All these things. I have been looking forward to this rainstorm all fall/winter. We get a rainstorm about this time of year. Sometimes it's this week, sometimes it's a week following Christmas, sometimes it's the first of the year. We get the storm every year. We'll probably get another one. It's not a bad thing. If you are familiar with the bay systems or the sound, the water gets super clear if it doesn't rain in the river systems. Think about Escambia, Blackwater, Yellow River. It gets really clean up there. And what that does is that the salinity level is so high, those fish can spread out and do all kinds of crazy things. Once it rains, now not immediately, it's going to take 3 to 4 days for the river to rise and the river to run off into the bay, and then the water will get a little dirtier and fresher. But the salinity level is going to drop. It's going to push all those fish into certain areas. And it's going to make the ability to go out and find them even easier for you. When the fish are spread out, you got to cover water. You really got to know what you're looking for. It's not going to change when the salinity level drops. You're still going to have to know what you're looking for. But it's going to get easier because once you find them, you found them. And that's pretty cool. It's one of those things. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about today. Josh and I launched early. We usually launch when it's dark outside. That should be no surprise. Josh has been painting all these custom lures. We've been experimenting with different types of jerk baits. Caught some really good fish on the bigger version of this bait, but Josh wanted to use a smaller version. He's been using it the last few trips. He's been catching some real good fish. Here's some video of me pulling up next to him. A little time-lapse video. Just messing with the GoPro. It's kind of fun. You guys can see it's a healthy fish. Josh caught it on this lure. It was the second redfish of the morning. They happened back to back. Couldn't have been more than 5 minutes between either of the fish. The first one was about 2 to 3 inches smaller than the one you see in the time lapse, but he caught it on this. Now he custom painted this. Purple's always been a good color in the wintertime. Obviously, I am pretty well set on my use natural colors thing. If it looks like a mullet, they're going to eat it. Now, purple has always done well. I know a lot of guys who like it and swear by it. Josh just painted it to paint it. He put some silver in the sides that we've been talking about with the mullet patterns, and obviously a white bottom. And it produced well. Has some holographic eyes on there, size 6 hooks. The lures, it's a good lure. I'm going to go into some more details about the lure later on in another video. We're going to start painting these things. He's going to start painting them more. They might even show up on the website, okay? But we wanted to go through, do some thorough testing, make sure they hold up well. Obviously, this one held up really good. It's really important that these, where you put your split rings, that those stuff doesn't bend. But we'll go into some more depths about that some other time. Obviously, got a little silver and white one with a little darker back with some green in it. Another purple variation. It's just stuff that we've been tinkering around with. Josh has done a great job learning how to paint these things. And it's fun. It's kind of interesting. Really a change of pace. So it's been fun. I threw a variety of baits today. Josh kind of was out in front of me. I was kind of tinkering around, really looking for speckled trout. We wanted to see what we could find following that rain. The one thing rain does to a water system immediately is it drops the temperature. And, in the past week, the temperature was 61, 60 degrees in some areas. The whole time we were on the water. This morning it started off 55. The warmest water I found was 56 and barely. The rain, the cold weather, it dropped that temperature. Obviously the first day following that stuff, the fishing, it would have been better in the afternoon. We knew that, but we had obligations, so we had to fish in the morning. We also launched facing a super low tide. There was no incoming tide. The first hour we fished, there was no water movement. North wind picked up throughout the morning to about 13, and we called it a day about 9:30. We fished a new area. We covered a lot of water. We did a huge, we went out up rivers, did all over the place. It was cool. It was a new area. It's nice to get out. We've been doing a bunch of exploring for really the whole past month. Found some interesting things. Found some things I didn't like. So we just kept moving. One thing about the maps, you can look at Google Maps or Google Earth, and they're always going to give you an accurate, you're not going to be able to look at it and go, well, that's 10 feet deep or that's 3 feet deep. You're not always going to be able to tell. So we covered a bunch of water. We hit a few areas I wanted to look at, and finally came into this little cove. And I guess it really wasn't a little cove. It's pretty darn big. But we saw some dolphins out in the distance, and boom! As soon as we found the dolphins, like, all right, well, we found the fish. Whether it's trout, mullet, or redfish, we found some fish. The dolphins came right past us. We went in this little corner, and boom, fish on. You know, it didn't take very long for Josh to find that first fish. Right after that fish, I had a bite, but it didn't connect. Could have been anything. No one will ever know. I drifted out to a little bit deeper water. I was fishing about 5 feet of water, and we were up towards the Scambia, okay? I was out there. I was looking for trout. The water was super clean still. Had a little bit of movement. There was a little bit of bait on the surface. No real big mullet or anything. Just a little bait running around. Not a whole bunch of it. Tide wasn't really moving. Didn't really expect too much in the morning time for trout, but I wanted to look in a few different areas I've never been to before. Josh stuck to the game plan. He worked up this little area, really dropped off from like 2 to 4 feet, and he caught another beautiful redfish. There was a guy up in there. He was beating on a dock, so it kind of threw the whole thing off. But it was a good morning. We had fun. We fished some new water, and it was productive. A lot of questions I get about this stuff is, Nick, where are the fish at? Well, we fished, okay, let's see, at least 4 different launches, 2 of which I've never been to before in the last 2 weeks. We caught quality fish at every launch in conditions that I wouldn't prefer to go in. They're not conditions I would run charters in because, well, they're fairly unpredictable. Unless you are pretty good at fishing, you're not going to be able to get the job done. That being said, you guys need to stop worrying about so much, well, I got to go fish right here, or I got to go fish right here because someone caught a fish, or I saw a fishing report. This guy said he caught a fish at Misty Waters or Liza Jackson to Santa Rosa Sound. I better go fish these islands. Start going fishing and looking at how the fish behave. It's going to help you catch more fish. It's simple stuff. We'll go into some more details about these lures later on in another video. That's it. Get out, go fishing, do some exploring. We're going to start getting away from doing the series and just answer questions and sit down and try to give you guys information that'll help you catch more fish like normal. We're going to put out the next fish facts video here in a few days. You're going to like it. It's a species that I love to fish for all winter. And normally when I tell you I'm going trout fishing, I probably didn't start off trout fishing. But we'll go into more details about that later. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I look forward to you booking your next adventure.